Yeah. Yeah. Now I see it.
There it says
Okay.
okay.
Okay, now I need to make a note for myself to set it up so that they all automatically record. My bad. All right, new year, new setup. All right. Sorry, thank you. Okay, so we'll keep going now because I just realized as Christine's talking, I was like, I don't see any recording going on. And Katie keeps trying to get in and then dropping out. Oh, fifth time's the charm. All right, next up. Well, I love that you're gonna have a dedicated space because I do know you're the puts it all over the because you have so much land and that's cool. But it'll be interesting to see what your experience is with a dedicated space.
Yeah, and give me a bit more. I'm planning on doing, I've done a lot more propagating on all the mother plants. So
Mm,
I've done a lot of propagating. So I have probably like 51 gallons that are all set out.
hmm
So I needed a space. They've been spread over the yard. Need a dedicated space for like propagation and vegetables.
Yeah, cool.
That's
I
the
like it.
goal.
And I like that you're simplifying on varieties. I feel like that's like the journey a lot of us go through is like, it's like, yay, vegetables. And I will try all the varieties. And then it's just like, then I don't know. I don't know if you guys feel like you kind of get lost in like, is it the variety that's having a problem or is it my technique or is it the area or is it just a weird year? And then it becomes like kind of a whole, uh, troubleshooting question mark. I like it. I like it. Gloria, you're next up on my screen. Would you like to talk about your goals for this year?
I'm just gonna keep experimenting with all the stuff that you guys are doing. I have the broccoli just like yours, but mine is all flowering. They're beautiful flowers. And
Yeah.
then my green pepper plant that was doing so great, some critter got in,
Oh,
damaged it, so now it's trying to regrow again.
Oh,
I, my Everglades tomatoes are phenomenal. They've taken over that whole arch. I love it.
uh,
And the tomatoes, I have those July, the ones that I think, what is it you call the ones that are like the little tiny ones?
4th of July.
Um, yeah, thank you. And they're there. They have like three or four. I'm waiting for them to keep growing. I gotta get them on trellises because I tried this whole string thing that ties up on the top of the arch,
Oh,
but I think that those, regardless of the support, that's just too weak to hold those plants up. And then I have the other ones, which I can't remember what they're called. They're another one of the breeds that or the species that you had recommended for tomatoes. They're big ones, but they're not the purple with Cherokee. They're the other one, the beef steak. So I
mm,
got two of those, and they're growing. Obviously, they're not mature yet. They're still green and starting, but waiting for that to come up. But other than
nice.
that, just waiting to see what else you got in your up your sleeve so I can start adding to the garden. I
Yay.
want to add another bed. And the
Yeah,
corn, I
okay.
tried the corn and tried the corn, and if it's not that it just comes up like a little grass and it just stays there, and then I
Mhm.
don't get anything from there. So I'm still not too sure about that.
Yeah, I'm not confident to give you guys tips yet. All I see is like there's something promising there. So now I'm gonna work on just refining and refining and see what I can figure out. And then I'll have lots of tips for you guys. But this is kind of how 4th of July started. It's like I could see something was good about it, and then I was like, okay, this seems like this is something to work with. And then I just kept trying to like timing, locations, just test and test and test. Versus some plants I
Well,
try them and I'm like, we're not trying that again. That sucked.
but just a quick question with the Everglades, will those hold up against the pests?
hmm Pretty much, yeah. They'll keep going. Usually once we hit late spring, when the sun gets really intense, especially since you're Miami area, right, Gloria?
No, Cape Coral for Myers, Tempe.
Cape Coral area. Okay, other side.
But I
Um,
have everything on the shade,
okay. But
on their
yeah,
shade.
that's when I start to see they get stressed and you will see like assassin bugs and stuff on it, but the plant can keep going. It'll look ugly sometimes in the summer. But if you have it in the shade area, it might be okay. Because it definitely I saw that it did better in the shady areas. But it seems like it gets stressed in the summer, and then as the summer kind of like winds down, it kind of picks back up again.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Cool. All right, Ruth, you're up next. What are your goals, projects, ideas, skills you're focusing on for this year?
Well, I got a little behind
Mm.
and we went on vacation right after Thanksgiving for a couple of weeks, and then I came back, and then my brother-in-law died right before Christmas.
Oh, sorry for your
So
loss.
I'm just Thank you. I'm trying to catch up, I guess, and clean up the garden. And when I came back, some of the tomatoes really took off. I had them in grow bags, and now they're all sprawled all over the ground. So I have to fix fix them up on some kind of trellises and things because I had them in cages and stuff, but they went everywhere. And
Yeah.
one of the varieties I was really surprised is a Globe, it's called. It's they're very big tomatoes, and it seems to be doing really well.
Ooh.
That's good. And what's called Marglobe?
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's developed by UF, I think.
Mm.
Um, it's a big slicer type tomato.
Mm.
Because I tried a bunch of different varieties, too many, I think, and and with this snap of cold, and then it goes really hot, and my cucumbers kind of died back, and now they're really good, and now I'm afraid since we're going to get a cold snap again.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This year is definitely we're hitting something a lot warmer. I'll touch on it when we hit in the January stuff, but there's other plants that are way outside the vegetable garden that I'm seeing some signs that I'm like, wow, we are like a month early for things happening.
Hmm.
And
With
I have strawberries in my towers, and I just something is happening to them, and I don't know what it is. Some are doing really well and they're normal, and then some look like they're almost like alligator skin. They start to
Hmm.
change the outside, and I don't know what it is. If it's a fungus, if it's some kind of you know, too much water, then not enough water. Um, because I hand water and have a sprinkler system, so I don't know what's wrong with them.
mm. Do you have any pictures? We can troubleshoot it afterwards. So
Uh,
it sounds like your 2026, you're focusing getting the garden cleaned up and then restarting to get back on track. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, pretty much. I have a big property, so it's kind of hard to keep everything. Because I have over an acre, so in St. Pete, so it's pretty big.
Wow. 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 That's awesome.
But
Cool.
I have just one side mostly that I concentrate on the vegetables and the fruits and stuff. And then, but I just feel like everything is getting overgrown. And where I thought I had part of my garden, and I have two sections. One of them, the tree got big, and then with the winter, the sun changed, and so now it's not getting as much sun. So it's a little confusing.
Yeah. Well, we can definitely look at that and work on that throughout the year. Well, well, thank you, Ruth. Jenny, you're up next. What are your goals for this year? What projects, skills, types, varieties? What are you thinking about?
Oh man, a lot. Uh, this is my second year growing. And so last year I just really tried to figure out, do I like to garden? Right. I planted a bunch of different varieties, like one plant of each to see what I liked and what worked.
Mm-hmm.
And so for this year, my project is I have two new raised garden beds. I just got them. They're 4x8. And I'm going to
Oh,
put
wow.
a cattle panel trellis between them. And so currently working on that. I have a truckload of dirt in my front yard that I'm like slowly bringing back and filling them up with. So that's the project that I have. And then as far as goals, I just want to eat a lot of fresh vegetables, like
Mm-hmm.
not really buy a lot from the grocery store if possible.
Mm-hmm.
And grow a lot of what I actually like to eat. When I said I planted like one of each plant to see what I liked, well, there's some things I didn't really like, so why am I growing them? So just trying to figure that out. I do want to start preserving as well. So the things that I like just grow more of and preserve. So thinking like pasta sauce and salsa, pesto. I want to make my own paprika and hot sauce.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the summertime, thinking about doing loofah for some like kitchen sponges.
Mhm.
So a little bit of, processing. Um, I want to grow a lot in general, just to be able to share, to preserve, and to eat fresh. And then thinking about adding some more fruit trees to my property. I have a
Mm.
pretty small yard, so I have to be pretty strategic about long-term plants like that. And then I had struggled with a couple different vegetables that I like this past year. One is corn, which it seems like is a tough crop to grow. So I'm going to continue
Mhm.
to try and make that work. And then squash. I don't know why, but I had a really hard time with squash. My squash plants, it was like I get one squash out of the whole plant, or maybe two, the whole life of the plant. And everyone else is like, I have so much squash, I don't know what to do with. So I'm doing something wrong. And then I have a shady part of my yard that gets like almost no sun, like along the side of my house. I want to try to put some like native bushes or something there that can handle some shade. And
There's
I
some good
haven't even started
ones.
thinking about that, but it's like blank and ugly right now.
Oh my goodness. Well, we'll definitely have to talk about that. I love you, and I love you're very organized. I always appreciate very organized lists, Jenny. So I just wanted to tell you that too.
I
I
wrote it
appreciate all
down.
of you. But I was like, she clearly has already organized her thoughts. So I love that. I love that you're being really and all of you are being very intentional and mindful about what you want to do in 2026. Thank you, Jenny. All right, next up is Isabel, and then it'll be Katie, and then we'll jump into talking kind of big thoughts for 2026. So go ahead, Isabel.
My goals for this year, number one, are going to be to lower my water bill. Actually,
Mm.
I have city water, so I have to do irrigation with city water. My bill is insane. I actually have
Mhm.
benchmarked with my neighbors, and I still have an insane bill. So I want to lower that, and I know that it's because of I water my backyard. I do have a relatively like medium to small size backyard. Um, it's about a third of an acre altogether, the property with house and everything.
Yeah.
So, but I do have like 23 fruiting trees. What I will tell you that I found this year is that no matter how much watering I did, soil is dry. It doesn't matter, like anything I
Mm.
do is so dry. My neighbor does have well water, um, and he said that they're going deeper this year, and so it's 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 my number one goal is I need to reduce that water bill.
Mhm.
It's too much, but I still love gardening and I still love pretty things.
Yeah.
So, and last year, my kids never used a garden, so I want this year for some usage of my yard, which means there's going to have to be some grading because there's a lot of like dips. Like something happened last year, and I'm not sure what, but I'm getting a lot of uneven terrain in my backyard more than
Mm.
any other year. And between that and the water bill, I think those two goals are enough for the rest of the year.
Yeah. I love
So
it. Thank you, Isabel. And Katie, you're up next.
You're still mute.
Can you hear me? Am I there?
Yes. Yes, you are.
Okay. Sorry. We just got back from a 3-week stint in Michigan. So I am like
Hey.
last night. So this morning I was out in the garden at 7 trying to figure out what is going on. I think I have root rot nematodes on the arch where I had some
Mm.
tomatoes because it killed off 2 tomatoes. But anyway, that's for another time. So I think I need to figure out a couple things this year. One of them is the way that my yard is set up. It's like a corner and it's lined with big clusia bushes for privacy. And they've gotten so tall that I think they're shading out half the garden during this time of
Mm.
year. And it
Mm.
is a struggle. So I told my husband we got to top those off, like cut off like 4 feet of them. And the plan is to get new beds in April and shift the whole garden further in away from the bushes quite a bit.
Mhm.
Probably like my goal is like 2 feet, and hopefully that will give us the sun we need, because like my peppers are doing terribly.
Is
and I
that
don't
going
know.
to change with the change of season? Are your shadows going to shift?
They will. And I'm hoping, I think if I wait till April, I'll be able to tell if it's just where I have them placed type of thing, or if I've got them shaded out by something else. I don't know. Things are kind of a mess. Tomatoes are doing great that are in the beds, but I just need to move it all off the hedge line, I think, a bit. And then I need to get irrigation going, because that was the hard part. I had a friend of mine on deck for watering the whole time I was gone. She's not a gardener. She did the best she could and it was fine. Like everything survived, but with the almost freeze that we had, everything's looking sad. But I was able to harvest like 8 heads of lettuce, a giant basket of different tomatoes. They're not the prettiest of tomatoes, but we'll eat them. Tons of green onions, some kale, a couple carrots already. So things they're fine. It's just I'm getting in my head now about how I want it to look when I get bigger beds, because I'm basically replacing these little 4x2 beds with some of the bigger corner shaped ones and a circle one. So it's just a matter of getting those placed and then running our irrigation line, because we have shallow well irrigation. And so if anybody has any tips on like what's the best way to tap into an irrigation system to then, I kind of want to do drip irrigation, I think, but I have to do more research. So if anybody has any tips of what direction I should be looking as far as connecting to the sprinkler system to water the whole garden, I could use that big time. And that's about it. And then like, if I have time, figuring out composting is like the last one on the list there for me. So
yeah, love it. Love it. So for me this year, okay, so here are some of my things. So I told Ben on the vegetable side, so I'll do food, then flowers. Is on the food side, I told Ben I want to really push for how many pounds we get out and how much we preserve. Because this last year, it was just kind of like I took it a little bit more easygoing. But I told him, I'm like, we'll probably be flipping crops a little bit more often, or we're just going to be pulling harvests in even more quickly. So I said, we're going to really up that this year so that we just maximize the square feet that we are using. I'm not going to expand anything. So that was one priority. Number 2, I'm going to really push our compost bin to, I think I showed you guys in a member of the video a picture of how deep that compost got. And it was really good. So I'm going to really push my system to see how much I can get out of it. And like try different things to see what I can get out of it. Especially now that he almost killed it again. He dumped a bunch of paper in there again. I was like, what are you doing? Stop it. So we got it going again, but it's a little cool out. Well, it's been cool out, and I don't know. So the maggots aren't really going yet, but I'm going to really push my maggots to like make a lot of compost, because when I look at the bills of like I buy plants that cost money, but like soil, I'm like, why am I spending so much money on soil? So I'm going to pull back how much soil I'm buying so that I can really get that going, especially because I'm going to do more flower stuff. And that's where I'm going to tend to just be like buying potting soil just to dump into things as I get going. My skill I really want to work on is seed starting flowers. That's like the big one for this year, is I really, really, really want to get good at that. So I don't have to, 1, buy as many flowers, but 2, because the stores just don't always have stuff when I know I'm supposed to need it. And I really would like to just have the flowers when I want them. So I want to learn how to do seed starting, but I guess first I need to figure out what seed companies to use. So I'm waiting to hear what people have been using that works. And that's kind of for me, my plant types and varieties is like flowers. And I'm excited. I think I said it in one of the upcoming videos or past videos, is that the Florida Wildflower Cooperative, they're going to try to expand like how much they get, because even their seed like selections is limited versus what you can usually find at like a native nursery. So those are my major things. No giant, I guess giant project wise, the cottage garden is coming back. That's the big thing this year. Those front beds, they're just sitting there waiting to be planted. The middle beds, those arches are going to get covered. I'm also going to learn about orchids, Isabel. I'm going to learn about orchids and try to do some stuff with orchids because I've got that trellis and I'm going to cover it with orchids. In theory, it might be a terrible spot for them, but that's the theory. I'm going to try to make orchids work in my garden. Okay, so I think those are my major projects and things right now. But yeah, cottage garden, cottage garden, cottage garden. There's already a project. I just have to go find what I'm looking for. I'm already pricing stuff out. I'm excited. So, and then one big project, I don't think it's happening this year. We're going to save up for it. Is I do want to get like one of the native landscaping companies to help me with the perimeter that's kind of behind the vegetable garden, put in more larger natives and plan out larger natives for that area because I don't like the areca palms and I'm over them. And yeah, we've had them for 8 years now. I know how long we've had them because we planted them the year my youngest son was born. So they're as old as him and I'm over them. And the only thing I like about them is they create privacy between us and our neighbors. And that's it. But that's like the beginning, middle, and end. And I know there are lots of good plants that could do that are native. And then I can get more butterflies. Oh yeah, that's one other thing. I'm adding more host plants back in because I need more butterflies in my garden. There were not enough in 2025. I need them back. So you guys will see a lot more native gardening this coming year because that's coming back. And the guy, I mentioned this in one of the posts over on Kajabi. If you're not over there, I'm sorry, but I'll tell you what I said. So I guess pause for a second. Plantapalooza is coming up. If you're in the St. Pete area, the Tampa Bay area, it's run by a lot of people from the Pinellas chapter of Florida Native Plant Society. It's at Sunken Gardens. So you only pay entry to Sunken Gardens. As of the last post from Chad, we have over 4,000 free plants that are going to be given away. So it is, if it's worth the trip, because you get a lot of free plants. I've got 80 in my yard that we're giving away, but Rob, who lives in St. Pete, who's in the Pinellas chapter, he's the one who's been starting a lot of them. And I was picking his brain because I grabbed 80 plants. Basically, they decided I got 80 because it's whatever fits in your trunk of your car because you have to be able to take it and then take it back. But he had another 500 to 1,000 plants there of all sorts of things. I was picking his brain about like, did you do this one by seed or did you do it by cutting? And he was doing all sorts of different things to all sorts of different plants that I've had experience with and I've recommended with you guys. So Rob's going to be there. I'm going to find him again. He was very nice and be like, so how'd you start that? Let me get my notebook out. I was not ready for all this. So that's a big thing I want to try this year is more propagating. I'm going to also pick Mr. Cliff's brain because he also likes to do, he comes over to my yard and he goes like, can I get some seeds and cuttings? I'm like, yeah, go for it. And he's done a really good job of making things grow in his yard. So I'll revert. I've talked to him and he's like, yeah, whenever. I'll just reverse get seeds back and cuttings back for the plants that no longer exist in the garden and try to propagate. So those are the skills I'm going to be working on this year. So hopefully there's lots of fun things some will go well, some won't, and that's okay. So 2026 goals, yay. Are you guys excited for 2026 in the garden?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. So you guys ready now to talk 2026? Let's think big picture. All right. So I'm going to talk food and flowers. So let's first talk seed starting and thinking about your seed starting cycles for those of us who seed start. So when I kind of look through what my natural habit is, and you tell me if it aligns with what you want to do / what you are doing, is I've noticed I tend to do a lot of my seed starting kind of all at once. And then different things might get transplanted at different timing. So when it comes to this year, this year, January, February is kind of the last round of root crops, lettuces, and then warm weather crops. So that's kind of like is January. That's kind of how I'm seeing it. You might want to go a little bit earlier if you're north, or wait, no, north, you'll want to go a little later. South, you'll want to stay with January. The next kind of round is the next kind of So this is kind of like the last hurrah, kind of, I'll call it, round of seed starting for your kind of traditional vegetables. And then February, March is kind of this other big cluster when I look at seed starting, both for flowers and food. So late February, March, kind of for central, again, earlier or later if you're North or South Florida. Hot weather crops for your vegetable garden, right, is tends to be we're starting to hit all the sweet potatoes, roselles, okras, Seminole pumpkins, Everglades tomatoes, because now we're consistently starting to have days that sit in the 70-degree range. So that's kind of the hot weather side. It's also another round of like, it's kind of the first round of like, let's get flowers going. And these are your warmer weather flowers. When I looked at the year, because fun fact, I'm already working on 2027's planner and the stuff that's going to go into it. And so I started laying out when do you seed start and which crop, like which flowers would be best when. And it seems like there's a nice clustering around February, March for kind of all those flowers that are going to get you through spring and summer and maybe into fall. So it's like a big chunk. And that's both natives and Florida friendly. That's the word I was looking for. So this is like your rudbeckias, your coreopsis. It can even be goldenrods that don't bloom until a lot later, liatrices, gaillardias. So a lot of the stuff, like if you guys look in the planner, flower wise, I'm getting there. So you'll notice when you look at these charts, getting there, there's like a huge, so these flowers right here that you can kind of plant first, those ones will want to have started a little bit earlier, but then you'll notice there's a bunch of them that just like keep going throughout the whole summer. Those ones, even though like you could buy transplants here, you can also seed start them and then just like have them keep going and going and going. It's past vegetables, Bobby, if you're looking in the planner. You have to go right past. Yeah, I know it's kind of tricky. It's because, you know what, I kept it separate because the flower list is like so long. So I put it after all the other stuff because I'm like, I can't, like it's just Central Florida or North Florida will just go on and on for pages. So I did a little bit differently. But yeah, you kind of see those. So zinnias, agarums kind of a little bit early. So that's kind of when I'm seeing kind of that big late midwinter. There's like this big clustering. And then it's similar with like the vegetable side. Boop, 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 boop. Is if we look, right, you got a similar thing going kind of with the very beginning end, right? This is when we're seed starting all the hot weather crops, is that February, March time period to go through. But for me, the way I'm seeing it is like this is kind of the tail end of, and if you want to do food and flowers, the way I have historically, if you look at the channel, is like fall, winter, early springs, like lots of vegetable videos. And then we get to like spring and summer and it's lots of flower videos and native plant videos because that's the stuff. So if you want to like, if you feel like you're going to get overwhelmed, you might want to also think about that in your head is like, I focus more on getting my vegetable garden going late summer, fall, and then stuff kind of is going through there because the amount of flowers you can grow just like shortens up, right? And the wildlife kind of comes down. So what's flowering in your garden is more kind of already established at that point. And then flowers kind of pick up at like late winter, spring, summer. And that's kind of like your major flower season. But hopefully my thought process as we continue through the years, we're not going too crazy adding flowers once it's like hot, like late spring, summer. While there's going to be stuff we can add, I'm hoping it's going to be more like I got it in and now it's pretty. So summertime, that's what's going to be. Now, the next kind of clustering area is that late July, early August, maybe early September if you're South Florida. That's your big round of vegetables, right? So this is now we're going back into warm weather crops. We're doing our tomatoes, our eggplants, our peppers, our corn, our squashes. We're doing all that fun stuff. And we're getting all that going. That's also like August, September, October, depending on where you live, is also when you're going to do your cool weather flowers. So that's like all the ones that you're buying come like late November, December, January. So this is like your alyssums, this is your snapdragons, this is even your begonias, your wax begonias and stuff like that. That's when their timing is starting to hit. So we would want to get them seed started. They're not going to be flowering. They're going to be just like little green plants growing and growing so that we can plant them out a couple months, 2 to 3 months later for flowering.
I have a question quick because I get nervous about just picking flower packets from the store because I don't want to put something that's like bad for Florida wildlife. Because I did that with some milkweed I had to tear out. I've got the wrong blue porterweed. I had to tear that out. And then just some of the flowers that I've started, like blanket flower should not be working. It is thriving right now in my yard. And then cosmos, which my son picked out last year, went all through summer, and I'm still finding them like reseeding everywhere and popping up, which makes it doesn't make any sense. But I'm just worried about which ones to pick and not like.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to find out like what seed companies people are using, because also then I can start calling out as much as I can.
Okay.
Because I know a bunch of the invasive species that are commonly found on the market. That's why I try to do those flower videos. And hopefully you guys like the new flower guide. I changed it more like how I do vegetable. Okay, good. Where it's much more like, and this is seed starting, and this is, and then this is, and then here's all your tips. So, yay, good. You guys like that. Okay. Because that's what I'm going to do every month. So there'll be like a dedicated like vegetable video, and then there's going to be like a long dedicated now flower video, really trying. And then and I will do, unlike vegetables, I will go to the store because I want to keep catching what kind of stuff is popping up at the store. Also because I feel like versus vegetables, flowers has a much, more people are used to just buying it, right? Buying a transplant and putting it in. Versus vegetables, I feel like it's pretty quick from people buying stuff at the store to trying to grow their own. So I think it's just a little bit different behavior. So I'll keep going to the store to show you guys what I see and call out invasive species and stuff like that I see. And also invasive species keep changing because like obviously milkweed wasn't invasive at the beginning of last year and now it is. I mean, we kind of knew it was going to happen, but
yeah.
But on the front of your Gaillardia, so I was alluding to it, I'll just jump straight into it. We are significantly warmer, like on average this year. And there's a lot of plants that are telling me that from Gaillardias. The biggest one, and I just confirmed it. So I just was at Disney for a couple days. I was running as a charity runner at Disney for the last couple days. And since I have the opportunity to go to Disney pretty regularly on day trips with my older disabled son, I pay a lot. They have a lot of flowers, so I get to like have fun. I'm telling you, the amount of plants that were in bloom that are never in bloom in January, that are usually February, March blooms, is crazy. And I'm talking perennials, not annuals. The biggest one and most obvious, and Bobby might see this around St. Pete, Ruth and St. Pete, the pink tababuyas. They are already all in bloom. That is not a January bloomer. That is not a January bloomer. Those ones don't bloom until after the cold snaps, but there have been enough cold dips that have gone up to high warm dip, to warm highs, that it's sending a lot of these signals that are usually the plants that say camellias, the amount of camellias that were in bloom there. I took lots of pictures so I can like post them later. Pentas are doing really good. There were just so many what I would consider like we're heading out of the cool stuff. We may have like a cold snap or whatever, but we're heading on an upward trend that are already in bloom. And I cannot believe we're heading into like the second week of January and they're in bloom. That's what I'm seeing. And that's what I think broccoli's bolting. This is why it makes sense to me, because it's like that stuff I could see happening in February, right? But I would not expect in early January. Lettuce is bolting at late December. Like there's a lot of, I think because of those cold snaps went so cold and then we went so hot for so long, a lot of the crops went, oh, okay, we're done with this. And yes, vincas, the amount of sun patients that were doing well at Disney, I was surprised they had sun patients out, but there were some ones that were looking really, really good. So I take advantage of the fact that they have a lot of property that's planted and I can look at all their stuff. But on the flip side, and then azaleas, we're getting ready to already open up. Yes. Oh, Ruth even said, yes, Ruth is confirming camellias in full bloom since December and usually they're February. So there's a lot. So if you guys are seeing some stuff that's a little bit different, yes, we are. That sequence of cold snaps really threw a lot of the plants off. The question is going to be, is it like last year? Because I will tell you, I remember this because we had a jogathon at the school and the kids looked like they were about to drop dead from the heat that day. And then the next week was the Princess Half Marathon at Disney. And it was like in the 20s and 30s there. So we went through some like high highs and then we went really low. So we'll still probably have cold snaps. So this is going to be kind of one of these like games of like what's going to be happy and what's not. So yes, yes. I have seen it, and the plants are saying yes, we see it too. Did I get through the year? So we have that kind of clustering of, okay, so I mentioned the late July. How did we feel now that we're kind of through the year, the late July versus August / Katie, my South Floridians, the late August, early September? What do we think? Are we doing that again? Are we not doing that again? I don't know.
Doing it again.
You're doing it again?
Yeah, because I had tomatoes already flowering end of November, beginning of December. And like my lettuces were all ready to harvest even before Christmas. Like everything that I seed started did really well early. Like I pushed it, I think I was beginning of August, mid-August. For most of that. I want to see if I can even do it a smidge earlier and see how I do.
Yeah.
End of October, beginning of my first flowers, I was just looking, are end of October and beginning of November. So same thing. It was I planted 2 weeks earlier than the year before, and I got results 2 weeks earlier. And I'm with Katie. I'll try to, if everything, hurricanes being equal, I'll try to push it maybe another week this year.
Okay. Anyone else who got the chance to follow that timeline? I don't think anyone else was. Okay. So then the final kind of wave is like October-ish is usually the, okay, mine too, Gloria said. The brassicas and stuff, usually September, October is for seed starting. Oh, Jacqueline made it. Other Jacqueline. So the other one would be October-ish for seed starting and getting kind of your longer cool weather crops. And what's the other one? Oh, and your root crops, October's. The other thing for October, bulbs. Lots of the bulbs for flowers. So, and I'm going to try it because I want dahlias and I want not snapdragons. What's the other one? What's the other one that's like
Lily?
Foxgloves. Foxgloves. Yeah, I want to try to get foxgloves. And I was doing lots of research on them because I was like, do you seed those? How do you do foxgloves? So it's apparently a multi-year plant, but Florida, they have varieties that they develop because they're a multi-year to bloom plant, but our summers kill them. It's kind of like garlic, right? Like they get better and better over time. What's the one that gets better and better? Asparagus. Like, but our summers kill it all. So I was like, well, then how do we get the snapdragons, or not the snapdragons, the foxgloves here to work? And so I was reading up that they have these first year flowering foxgloves. So I was going to look more into like, how do you get those? Where do you get those? Sometimes I feel like I love UF. They do so much great research, but then they tell you varieties and I'm like, but you can't, where do you buy these? Like you can't find them anywhere. So I'm going to do more research because I really would like to try to get some foxgloves and dahlias and stuff like that, which they never put them out in the right timing at Home Depot, Lowe's. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll do it myself. But that's when some of the bulbs go in, is in that time period. Okay, so that's big picture of the year. You want to talk January really quick, and then we'll get into all our questions. Okay, so yes, January is being warmer this year, like by a lot, and all the plants said so. And then rain is always, we're in drought season. So while we're supposed to be averaging 61, so far we seem to be averaging like upper 60s, low 70s. 7 hours of sunshine, so we're a little bit lower. UV index is down, though I swear when I'm out and about, it feels more intense. And your bugs, they should be lower in theory. And then the major thing for us is that this is kind of the mix of, we're switching over to warm weather crops for most of the state. So starting seeds, we can still get some cold weather transplants in, or if you want to try your hand at some root crops, that's always a good one. And then herbs. I always skip herbs because I'm not a big herb person, but I know you guys like herbs. Grab some chives, grab some parsley, grab some coriander, tarragon, fennel, and thyme. How many of you guys have herb gardens? Bobby, Jenny, look at all you guys. You guys are so great. And I'm like, no.
On side note about the parsley, I had one that lived in my yard here for 2 years, like part sun area. It's a host plant to one of our butterflies because they were all over it, and I was so shocked. So now I keep it in my garden. But yeah, plant it in your garden, guys, because it'll stay all year round, and it has the double benefit of being a host plant for one of
Yes,
our butterflies.
it's host to the black swallowtail. They've got really cute caterpillars.
Yeah.
I think they're considered like the cutest caterpillar technically by butterfly gardeners. So
It took
yes,
me by complete surprise. I had no idea that one of our herbs could be a host plant, and I was like, "Why are all these butterflies?" I'm like, "What? Who knew?" So,
yeah. I actually thought about buying some from Lowe's the other day because I was like, I don't care about getting parsley. I just want to get some butterflies. And I have black swallowtails in my neighborhood, so just wanted to get it. And then on the flower front, it's all about those cool weather flowers. So alyssum, delphiniums, dianthus. The amount of times I called delphiniums dianthus in the video that I had to like sound dub myself was pretty funny. That's a fun behind the scenes. Even though I know it's delphinium, I just kept saying dianthus. I was like, what were you thinking, Jacqueline? Pansies, petunias, verbenas, violas. I'm gonna put some on the Kajabi pictures. There were so many pretty color combinations at Disney with their pansies, violas, snapdragons, petunias. Like there were some really pretty color. They're getting ready for their art festival, which is going to start in a couple weeks. So, and this year's theme is very rainbow, like cool toned rainbows. So it was very, 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 very pretty. So I'll drop some pictures so you guys can see it because it was very pretty. I took tons. And I don't know who remembers the year for one of the members' videos that I jumped inside of a bush to get pictures of camellias for you guys. So I was all up in the plants, like leaning over the rails, being like, I need to get these color combos for them so they can see them because they're really pretty. And if you want to do some flower transplants, like look at these pretty color combos that they're doing. They do some really cool ones. So I spent a lot of time yesterday walking around getting pictures for you guys. Plus, I got a lot of pictures of camellias, different camellias that they have. They have a ton over there. And I always forget until it's the time of year when they start blooming. And then you're like, oh. And one of the cool things I saw that they did, I guess just to share with you guys, is they shaped one of them, some of the camellias they shaped up as like mini trees. And I thought that was really cool how they did it. I took some pictures. Plus, I noticed they had them in as small pots as 7 gallons. Was there some or 5? I took pictures. I took lots of pictures because I was like, this is very interesting if people wanted to get camellias.
wait, are you talking like mini trees? Sorry, Jiley. Like, talking like mini trees, like literally like 3 or 4 feet tall, or like in a 7-gallon pot?
No, the tree one was in the ground. They had the other ones in shrubs. I'm gonna flip if I can quickly find it in my pictures. I will share it with you. What did I do? Library. I don't have any. Oh, so just remember. Okay, let me give you guys notes as I look for this picture of camellias from yesterday. Friendly reminders. It's drought season. It's going to continue to be drought season. So irrigation, all of you guys with irrigation, it's a really good idea. There's the China pavilion. So where's the pictures? I guess they didn't transfer from my phone. I don't know. And blue skies, do big projects. Yeah, none of them transferred from my phone. Let me see if I can show you this picture of the camellia tree.
Yeah, because I've tried camellias a couple of times, like in ground out here, and it has never worked.
Yeah, see it? I wish it transferred over, but that's what it looked like.
That's awesome. That's very pretty.
And then I took some pictures of pots because I was like, wow, they are making them work in some pretty small pots here.
Camellias like acidic soil.
Yeah, and kind of like blueberries. I know everyone who tries blueberries in the ground here always gets frustrated, and then they end up putting them in pots.
Oh my God, I just did that with like over the last 3 years. I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, yeah. It's like the you can even watch different YouTubers. They go through that cycle. Like I think Katrina's been there. Elise, I've seen do. Like they're like, I can make it work in the ground. You'll see videos they do it. They try to acidify their soil, because blueberry can grow really well here. But the problem is like once your house has been built and they topsoil like the soil's now been changed from what's out in the areas where they put tons of blueberries. So it's just fun. Look, I've watched enough YouTube videos over the years. I've seen people's pattern. Like they do their video like, I can grow blueberries. This is what you have to do. And then like you watch like a year later, then they're like, it doesn't really work in the ground. We need to do it.
Do it in a pot.
That's funny. So this is actually a bigger pot that a camellia is in. Also, I have no idea who those people are, but I was like, this is just a pretty picture. That was
Wow.
a bigger pot. Like it was more 7 to 10 gallons, but there were ones that are smaller. And I guess I just didn't take a picture, but I was noting it as I was going around because I was like, wow, they really do have a lot of camellias in some pretty small pots. And I don't see any of them in the photos I took. Also, what was really interesting at the Norway Pavilion is if you want your yard to look frostier and you want to include my native people, they were doing a lot of this like purple viola, the Dusty Miller. But if you guys look, there's buttonwoods. They were putting in lots of little buttonwoods all over the place. You can't really see it in this picture, but it's right there.
I see
I'll
it.
post these on Kajabi so you guys can like really zoom in and see. But I thought that was very interesting. If you guys aren't familiar with buttonwoods, that is a native plant that berries in the winter. The fruit kind of remind me of those, what are they, like candied frosted raspberries or whatever that you see like on your grandma's table. That was really cool. Yeah, so they had some really interesting things happening, and I took lots and lots of pictures of the flowers so that you guys could see all these different color combos. And anytime I see them include a native, I take pictures because I'm like, oh, okay, cool. What are you guys doing with the native there? Fun fact, Cinderella's castle is surrounded by native beauty berries. Most people probably don't even realize that. Okay, so I think I gave you a lot of the just like high levels. I know you guys are watching the video, so I don't want to be too redundant. So let's get into questions and things you wanted to catch. So I know Gloria posted a comment for Ruth. How do you spell that tomato? Is it Marglove or Marglobe?
Marglobe, Marglobe.
Okay, thank you. So now
Do
you
you
got
remember where
that.
you got it, Ruth? Seeds or starts?
I started it from seed, and I think I got the seeds from Jera. Oh,
Okay.
Jera's garden.
Still keeps bugs up breast. Okay. All right. So let's go around answering questions. If you have any pictures or anything you need to share, or if you're in the and hi Jacqueline. Welcome. So let's go to questions, and then Katie, you're up first. Just a friendly reminder, if you haven't seen the videos, if you have the Kajabi Communities app, it has switched over to just being the Kajabi app because they're trying to consolidate stuff. So everything should be the same. You should use the same password. Fun fact. But just in case you didn't catch that in whichever post I put up, just know that that's happening. And if you haven't switched over, you should. I think it's more fun over there. You get more stuff, I guess, over there. Same price, but over there. Okay. So Katie, you're up first. Oh,
Yeah, root rot nematodes. What do I do? It like the plant with the 2 tomato plants were doing great. And then all of a sudden I started to see them getting yellower and yellower, and then they're just dead. I pulled them up. The roots are classic, just gross, chunky. And it's not in my raised beds. It's just on the arch that's in the ground. So what is the best course of action? It's only, I think, on one side of the arch, but I'm assuming it'll probably contaminate the other side, maybe. I just don't know.
Does anyone want to jump in before I jump in? Okay. So they like sandy soil. So they're in sandy soil. So the best way is you just really up your organic content, like a lot.
Okay.
So you can kind of just dig out the area and dump tons of garden bed soil or put your own compost in. But they don't like, they like that fast draining sandy soil. And so you'll see them more and more in there. So the more you just up your organic content, the less you'll have of them.
Crab
Because
meal
we had
also
mulched
helps.
pretty heavily, but I think we just need to keep how far down should I dig? How far down should I remove the sandy soil out?
If you're gonna do tomatoes again, I would try to get a foot in if you could.
Okay. Okay.
Depends what kind of house. Well, I guess it depends how sandy it is.
It is a bad, and I knew we were going to struggle with in bed or in ground because 3 years ago when we had no intentions of gardening, we had such a massive pest and weed problem, and we hired a company to just kind of destroy the ground, which I am very sad I did that because I think I'm reaping the benefits of my stupid decision because the soil is horrible. It's got no nutrition. It's sandy. I'm constantly having to add fertilizer. And so I think it's a hot mess. I have no problem digging a lot of it out and, replenishing with better.
So what I would do, so that you don't, because I know how it is to dig in the ground a lot, I would only go a foot deep and I would only worry what is that? A foot and a half, 2 feet wide. So
Okay.
you don't need to solve the yard. Just do
Yeah.
a block for wherever that tomato is going to go, and then
Okay.
backfill that. What I also consider doing, since we're going to head into the warmer months, and depending on if you're going to use how you're going to use that space going forward, is consider doing wood chip mulch to break down through the summer. Because if you
Right.
keep applying that wood chip mulch, it's gonna make that soil so good over
Yeah,
time.
I'm not tied to salvaging the spot right now to grow stuff because like I said, we are kind of shifting a lot this spring as far as positioning of beds and everything. And over the summer I had just planned to put blue butterfly pea over the whole arch. So I'm not super worried about getting more tomatoes in there. I've got enough tomatoes in other spots. It's just a matter of thinking ahead to next fall. I want to be able to use it. So I'm trying to mitigate it now.
So yeah, I would then if I'm not worried about it till fall, I'm going to put wood chip mulch in whatever area that's going to be the arch area. Let that break down. And then when I go to transplant, I will dig that, kind of basically push out that area because at that point, your soil should start to be richer. It might take a couple years of putting some wood chips down. I don't know if you ever saw how I did it.
I think I've looked back at the back to Eden mulching
style.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of which area would be the best example of what I'm thinking about for you. But yeah, I would just dig. So then once you're letting the wood chips break down, it's breaking down over the summer. Now you've started your seeds in the trays. Come August, early September, you're getting ready to transplant. I'm just pulling back what's left of the mulch. There should be some nice, good soil. And now I can see how deep that's going. And if you dig a little hole and it's going 6 inches deep, it's okay, I'm going to go dig a little bit deeper and backfill where the baby plant is, understanding. And if you're okay with it, you can understand that the plant's going to produce and then probably get root knot nematode again. And then I'm going to, but I'll get something because it's better than last season. And then I'm going to do the mulch method again. And then the next year is going to be better. So it depends how aggressive you want to move your timeline.
We did get a couple tomatoes off of those plants. And for context, before we had this round of tomatoes, last spring I did Everglades tomatoes and those thrived right there. Those were doing great. And then I had also done Puerto Rican black beans there too. So it seems to me it was a situation where I stopped mulching and stopped putting enough organic matter in, and that just kind of sent it off in this direction. So okay, I'll do that. We'll try
and
it.
you'll get it in your just heads up for anyone, if you don't continue to add some amount of organic material, it'll even get into your raised beds Because I
Okay.
did have carrots. I hadn't really replenished soil in a few years. And I just kept planting it. And then this last season of carrots showed evidence of root knot nematode. But now I just
Okay.
dumped like, I don't know, 9 inches of compost on that bed. So they should be
I did
fine.
like chop and drop a bunch of like bolted lettuce and stuff in there. Should I still be adding soil and mulching into the raised beds too?
Yeah, I would do it. I tend to, well, so what I tend to do is I tend to do it in the summer right before we reset.
Yeah,
Instead of, I mean, you can constantly add stuff in if it's
yeah.
easy. I don't do anything major during the season.
I think I did. I think I topped off the beds back in October, kind of filled them
Hmm.
up a little bit, but I'm just trying to avoid it getting into everything.
Well, how old is your beds? Like the soil in general in your beds? How many seasons have you done with
Um,
them?
Not even like maybe a year and a half.
Yeah, they
Not,
should be okay.
no. Okay.
I wouldn't be worried for this season.
Okay.
Because by the time the carrots were getting it, that would have been, those beds are a year. So these are heading into 2 years. They were like 3 to 4 years at that point.
And like I said, we are changing out the beds, so that's a whole thing too, where I know I'm going to have to get new soil and get, you know, mulch and all
Yeah.
that going to. So
I will tell
okay.
you, the soil started before I saw the root knot nematodes. The soil in that bed was already looking sandier. So there
Okay.
is like you can see it too, like that it doesn't look as rich. It looks a little bit more sandy. It feels a little bit drier when you touch it. Those
Yep.
were things that I was already seeing before I saw actual, like down at the bottom of the carrot, like where the little,
Mm-hmm.
like you got like the main carrot and then the root kind of keeps going. I was seeing evidence there. So I will say I saw it and I could feel it long before.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Who's up next with questions for the group? Christine, are you next?
So I got kind of two. So one is about the Kajabi. I did download it and it has me hooked up to the WILDFLORIDIan.net. But other than that, I don't know if it's. I remember you said they were switching from the community to this to just the straight Kajabi, but I just don't see anything. Like, and it doesn't give me an option to like. It just says like no courses. Oh, if you know, like if I should just reach out to them because it says I'm on your stuff, but I don't see anything like no chats, no pictures, nothing.
Okay, so you're on the regular download, right?
Yeah, because
Not the communities, right? Just
I caught your thing that said they're switching over.
I'm pulling it up.
See if I can. Well, oh.
I cleaned up my phone app, so now I'm
Can you
like,
show
where did
us
I
your
put this?
screen, Christine?
Sorry?
Can you show us your screen, what it looks like on your phone?
Uh, hold on. Let me see if I can figure out the
There's a
screen.
way to switch it from the courses thing because I'm in other people's courses.
Yeah, I
I
think
had
so. Like I saw the same thing when I logged in, and here's like, well, you can't see it, but my screen it like defaults to the no courses. But at the bottom of the app, there's like a community button next to library, which is what you're in for courses. And if you hit the community button, that's where the
yes.
feed is.
Hold on. I'm trying to. Yes. I think I got it. I would think I might have to reach out to them because, like, other than looking at like my profile and stuff, my main page is just blank. Like, there's no option for
Oh,
community or anything. And like, other than like managing sites, like, there's just seriously there's no buttons and no options. So I think I might have something's up.
That
So,
sounds like what happened to me earlier. I just changed. I have an Android, so I do Android. My
mm,
previous Android, that's exactly what I used to see. And it like I could access like record the recording of a course that I did with Jacqueline like 2 years ago, but I couldn't see that. Then the moment I changed my phone, Android pushed an update, and that's when I started seeing the actual Kajabi app. So
uh,
if you have do you have an iPhone or an Android?
I'm an Android user.
Okay. If you go to the Play Store,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to there should be an update there. They might not try to push it because they, depending on the version of Android, they stop pushing the right version to you.
Okay, okay.
Because that's exactly what happened to me.
Okay, yeah, I'm on here. I'm gonna have it start. It's got an update pending, so we'll see if that'll fix it. There you go. Okay.
Yay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Isabel.
The other thing that I wanted to, so, like
Yeah.
you've been experimenting a lot with these Florida friendlies and stuff, but you flip them a lot. I've been experimenting on how long they'll stay alive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's some like impatiens and sun patiens, especially the impatiens. I'm sitting here next to the pot. I planted them in March last year. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't bloom through July and August, but they've been good and flowering the entire year. So
Nice.
there's just some, because I was seeing like up north, there's plants like this where I came from. There's a lot of plants like these that are annuals because of the cold, but down here we don't have them. So like if you, I know some of you guys are working on pots, but just some of these annuals that we think of annuals, they actually go all year round. They, like I said, they got stressed during the summer with the heat, even in shade. They didn't flower, but now they're like full on back draping over the pot. They look beautiful. Um, and I've got a couple others that is the same. Like I have petunias that went all the way through and they're flowering again.
That's
So
cool.
there's just some that if you put them in like shadier spots and stuff that they will stay all year round. You don't have to flip them if you like those flowers.
Yeah.
So because I
I'm
love those.
seeing
Mhm.
I was saying I'm seeing that with the Gaillardias because they went all winter. They slowed down. And like the
Mhm.
Coreopsis, they slowed, like they're not blooming and they look maybe a little sad, but they're just kind of hanging out, which is fine. I don't mind. So I'm not flipping as much this year. I did that really so I could just learn lots of plants really fast. That's what I'm trying to do. I was like,
Yeah, I enjoyed reading so much about the other ones. I tried other annual like Florida friendlies that I wouldn't normally try, but there was
Mhm.
some that I was like, I really like. Here, I'll show you guys these impatiens. They've been in this pot since like they look sad. I need to water them. They have not been watered in a couple of days, so they look kind of sad right now. But these guys have been going like they're getting leggy, and I've chopped some of these back and stuck them back in the soil. But these guys have been alive in my ginkgo bonsai's pot for like almost a year now.
Nice.
But just
Very
yeah, because
cool.
especially I think these were the ones that I got for like $1 on
Mhm.
sale, and now they've lasted all year long. So,
That's cool.
but yeah.
That's a good
Just
reminder.
yeah, impatiens and petunias and stuff. Like you can put them in pots, and as long as they're in a shade, I put this more inside the lanai in the summertime, so it doesn't get the direct sun. But they go all year. And it, by the way, these flowered in my lanai.
Mm,
So this doesn't. Once you move in the summertime, this gets sunny. Or sorry, in the summertime, this is shady. Like, and they don't get any sun when they're in here, but they got just enough like light that they actually flowered within my lanai because I was trying to figure out how to get flowers in my lanai. So these work. But yeah, petunias and impatiens actually can go all the way through as long as they're in the shade.
nice. Thanks, Christine.
Oop, but there you go.
All right. Who else has got a question or a share that they want to add?
So, Jacqueline, I know
Yes,
this might
ma'am.
be a loaded question, but
Uh-oh.
what do I do with the sandy soil? I'm struggling here. You know, I've been doing the chip drop. You and I have been doing it for a long time,
Yeah.
but I'm noticing that that soil is becoming sandier faster than I can replenish,
What
especially
kind?
for the grasses.
Mm-hmm. Where, so there's a couple things. So with the chip drop, are you doing like wood bark
Yeah.
or you're doing the bark, not just like the full tree? Because
I'm taking the whole tree
okay, so you're getting like arborist cuttings of some sort. Okay. And how often do you add it
once
right
a
now?
year.
Once a year. How deep?
I do about 2 to 3 inches.
2 3 inches. But you said your soil is really dry.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I'll
Can
stop
you?
first. But what you're gonna see is that like where the irrigation is, everything seems green, but it's still sandy. And then as it moves away
Mhm.
from the irrigation, everything is like super dry, and the soil is sandy. And it doesn't matter if I use the what's the name of that thing that goes like that like we used to use when we were little to jump over it.
Sprinkler.
Waters.
Yeah,
A
like
water
the
sprinkler.
sprinkler.
Yeah, but the one that is like you attach to the hose.
Oh, the one that
Oh,
like wiggles around, like
Yeah, that one.
yeah. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, I know what you're talking
That one. Yes. So
about.
I actually had to. So I we are restricted in the irrigation. We can only do once a week on
Okay.
Wednesdays. I am irrigating every zone for like 30 to 45 minutes. I have I think it's 9 zones. Um, then I am supplementing those areas with the thing, and I still like soil so sandy, and it looks like there's critters carving through it all, and it's very uneven. It's like what just happened?
Yeah. So a couple of things. Okay, so here's how I approach it, troubleshooting wise. Step one, with your irrigation, I would get some sort of like you can get the rain gauge thing or whatever, but like you need because I know you're an engineer. Get some sort of like cylinder, something. You need to measure how much water is happening in the 30 to 45 minutes to see like how many inches that's getting. Because different flow, Isabel used to work with me. Anyone didn't know that. We would work together for a long time. So you want, because it could be flow rate, there could be blockages, there could be something else going on. So like, even though they're running, like, is it really running? Because we had that in, I don't remember what, we've had it happen a couple times. Stuff just clogged up sprinkler heads. And then like, because I would start seeing plants have problems, I was like, what's going on? Um, so let's like first verify, like, are we getting the water? And I would do that sampling at different parts of your yard so that you can see, like, is it some zones okay? Usually when you show us pictures of your front yard, it looks great. So if it's more of a backyard thing, but I would do the sampling on the front yard just for compare and contrast, right? Also because they sometimes put in different sprinkler head designs, the irrigation people do. So that could also be changing the flow rate, even though you have it set up for the same amount of time for an area. So just so you can figure out how much is really hitting the different areas. So because we're getting 3/4 of an inch to an inch a week, like that, I would tell you that's comparable to my yard. Okay. So let's say now we're verified, we're getting somewhere between like 3/4 of an inch a week or half an inch to an inch a week. All right. So that means we get enough water, but the water is moving through too quickly and it's draining too fast. So we got to change that. So if we're mulching the area and it's not retaining the organic matter, that means there's not organisms retaining the organic matter. So it's washing through faster. How often does your grass get, so are you seeing this in your flower beds and vegetable beds, fruit areas and grass, or are we just talking grass? Like which areas are we seeing the sandy
So
soil and the impact of it?
so grass, we're seeing it the highest.
Mhm.
That St. Augustine looks as crispy as a toast.
Okay.
On the front beds, even though they look nice and cute, when I grab the soil, that soil doesn't feel, even though I keep adding stuff to it, because I'm always turning those sides of the beds, like putting more flowers and more flowers and more flowers. I don't necessarily like, even if when I pull the weeds, I will just like leave it there, like not remove the whole weed. I actually like almost like chop and drop type of situation. because I get a lot of that looks like almost, it smells kind of like an onion and it looks almost like grass, but it doesn't have any seeds.
Oh, you're talking about the no, oh, spelled like onion, not cucumber, not a
No,
Chinese crown orchid.
no, no. It looks like a grass, almost like the leaves of a lily.
like society garlic smelling.
No, more
No?
organic.
Okay. And it's a
Um,
weed?
yeah, it is.
Maybe it's a
So,
walking onion. Okay. But go ahead. Go ahead. You have that. You're
so
chopping and dropping it.
yes, so I'm chopping and dropping. I keep adding mulch. I did the experiment last year with the easy straw. The only problem that I had with adding that easy straw on the beds to maintain moisture is that it increased the amount of weeds that I brought into the from beds. Then so I started adding other organics like the whatchamacallit these those organic fertilizers, espoma.
Mm-hmm.
And I every time that I'm trimming stuff, I just like drop it. Like I cut, drop. So I maintain the green matter there. So
When you dig, do you see bugs in the area? Like, do you see lots of bugs, millipedes, many times
as
worms,
many as I would expect. I see
beetles?
the worms. I don't see too many beetles. I don't see I do see a lot of little butterflies and the bees.
Yeah, but
Because
that's above. I'm thinking like what's in the ground.
on the ground, no, I see. That's why I was expecting to see more of the wiggly worms. I don't see as many. And that little snake that is like the underground snake that is like teeny,
Or
that looks like a worm.
yeah, the garter snakes.
Yeah. I see teeny tiny of those like ground cockroaches. That you
Mm-hmm.
like I'm not seeing much activity there. It's pretty bare. Um, so I feel like okay, something is happening here, but I'm not understanding.
Does your HOA do any amount of your landscaping?
No, it's all
No, they don't like yeah,
no.
like there's other ones. Charlene lives in one. I've watched when I visited her. They don't let them landscape their houses. They come through and they spray and mow and cut like crazy. Okay, so it's not like that. I didn't think it was, but I just wanted to verify like is there something happening maybe that you don't have visibility to? Okay. So the fact that there's like not a lot of bugs in the soil tells me like they're not finding it something okay. And then the lower moisture levels because you aren't getting the rain and your well waters are getting lower. So your in-ground water is going lower, but plants that can reach it are doing okay. Are you still composting in your tumbler that you were doing like a year ago?
Yeah, but I haven't actually like taken out the matter.
Stuff.
So
Because that would be some of
that one. Interesting fact. I water it, and the water that I take out of it, I'm using it to irrigate around those areas. It has made the tamarind grow like crazy, and the star fruit. Oh my gosh, I cannot like. I wish I could send you loads of star fruits. I have star fruits for like 3 years now.
yeah.
So, but that's the thing. It's like the ones that can get down, 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 they're doing great.
Mm-hmm.
But anything that is surface,
Mm-hmm.
except for the ixoras, because ixoras are the only ones on the front that are like, yay, we're okay. But then again, those can get deeper.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I'm checking sprinklers and then you're adding the mulch. So you might want to go deeper with mulch levels and then do like a super watering of the mulch. Like so that it absorbs lots of water and then it can slow release it over time, like a woody mulch. And then do you see millipedes in your yard?
No.
Really? Because millipedes do what worms do for Florida. Because usually it gets too hot for like earthworms. Yeah. Okay, let's start with step one, measuring, and then if you want to put on Kajabi, like what kind of measurements, and then let's start there and see if that's anything. If you're going to continue to have ground well problems and you're seeing, I don't know, when you said the ground seems to be changing, like that kind of gets me kind of nervous for you guys because of sinkholes and stuff. If I'm not putting that out there. We're just look.
No. Let's keep it positive here.
Yeah. So, but if your ground is shifting, like what is going on with, like, if that's obvious and noticeable, I don't know. There's just some things like a little weird. But if your grass continues to have problems, I would consider, I mean, and this is a continuing problem in your area because you guys have been low on rain, right? Year over year over year.
No.
Do you need to switch out away from grass in the back? Are you allowed to switch out from grass in the back?
Yeah.
Like, is that under, I'm not saying we're going there yet. I'm just asking for options because you're St. Augustine grass, because the way you can force grass to go deeper is you mow it more often. And the question will then be like, what height is it hitting? Have you heard that stuff before, Isabel / other people? Right. Because like if you cut it too short, then the roots shorten up and then it doesn't retain the moisture properly. So you have to like hit that right amount and right frequency to really push those roots to go deeper. And you can't let it get too tall either because it's like the same problem. So it's like it's a regular trimming to push it. But I'm just wondering, like, with how low your water table is going, do you have to move away from that? And then what does that look like? I don't know. So let's just start with water. I'm going to start with water and then let's see if that's anything because that's an easier fix than like some of these other ones. Then we're getting into like long-term landscaping changes because if you're going to continue to have water problems and the well waters, because this is not the first time you've mentioned well water problems.
So yeah, and again, my neighbor has a well, I don't.
I know.
So, and he did say, again, because I am part of the HOA, we just had to, one of our wells too, we had to dig deeper. We had to go like over 100 feet down.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like,
yeah. So it seems like your ground's drying out, and I don't know if some of these solutions can overcome, like the typical gardening solution can overcome it because that's getting you like 6 inches deeper, 12 inches deeper. But like if we're talking about the ground's getting like now a plant has to reach like a foot deeper, 2 feet deeper. Now we're out of the range of like a lot of vegetables and some annual flowers and definitely out of the range for grass. And then now it's like, okay, well, then you just have to start doing plants that are going to be able to reach lower. And that's kind of your only option until you can somehow offset your particular microbiome. That's what I got for you. That's not really a nice answer. It's not like a magical answer, like, oh, all you got to do is this and everything's fixed.
all right, we'll start measuring water.
Yeah, let's start measuring water. Let's see if there's something going on with your sprinklers. All right. Final question before we wrap up. Okay, go ahead, Jenny.
I wanted to see if you had any recommendations for like bushes that for like full shade now, partial shade in the summer that I could put like
Yeah.
against the house. That would be natives preferably.
Yeah, the number. I see you mouthing it. Bobby knows. Number one choice would be shiny coffee. Yep. Christine said too. Shiny wild coffee. Number one choice for shade. It can be trimmed to look like a shrub if you like. I wouldn't, but I mean, like you can prune it up. I've seen malls aggressively prune that one. So yeah, shiny wild coffee. Number one choice. Do you want number two choice? Turk's cap. Turk's cap's not native, but it is edible. A number two choice for really shady areas would be who likes it shady? How tall do you want it to be? I'm sorry.
Varying heights. So I have like
Okay.
windows, and so I'd like something a little shorter in the window section, and then I have no windows and I can go fully up.
So there's a like a one. Okay, so there's also I love Rouge plant. It's so pretty. But it will reseed and the birds love it. That you've seen it. So you got Rouge plant. And then I would also say, what's it called? I'm blanking. Hold on, I have to look it up because I can't remember the name of it. It's a common house plant that people like love, but it's native to Florida. It's called. Oh, I am blanking. No, no, no. Most house plants are invasive, but one of them is actually native. Where is it? And it is called. No. Oh yeah, you could do coonties too. And that's a host plant if you want to make your landscape more like a dinosaur. Come on, Google. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna kick myself. I'll think of it as soon as I get off this call. I know it. And the problem is I can see it in my head. No one knows what I'm talking about.
It's not the one with the holes in it, like a moringa or something.
No, it's
I don't
like
know.
something opsifoliate. What is it? Oh my gosh. Okay,
Draw
hang on.
it. Draw
I'm
it.
gonna go on who carries it? I know Sweet Bay has it. I know Wilcox has it. What the heck is it called? If I dry, it won't look like much because it's just green leaves. Like it's like green roundish leaves. Plant list. Where's your guys' plant list? Just let me see your plant list right now, and I'll be able to remember it. I can even see where it is on their property. I'm like, yep, you just go in and it's like that first plant usually to the left or first 3, 4, 5. Like it's where they keep them. Asters, azaleas, the copas. Nope, 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 nope. Great. Sometimes you can get tropical sage to grow kind of okay in shade, but it tends to look very sad. But if you really wanted to, but yeah, I would go with the ones I've already recommended. You could do Coontie if you really want to. Oh wait, can dogs access this area?
Yes.
Okay, don't do Coontie then. Oh, you can do fire, but well, this is like shade, like right?
Yeah. In the winter,
It's
it's
like
like 100% shade.
yeah, like because like you can kind of get away with firebush if it's like mostly shade but some sun, but
Yeah, I had
100%.
firebush there before, and it didn't do very well
Yeah, they don't
because you
they
had like
don't love.
recommended like the bees and stuff. The bees didn't even notice it.
Yeah, I noticed the bees, they liked it when the nectar warms up in the sun.
Yeah, my dog
Uh
is she's the biggest garden pest I have besides iguanas. She likes to stomp all my plants, and so I have to like put like cages around things so that she won't stop them because she's looking for lizards.
yes. Also creeping sage for like a ground if you want to go ground cover and it doesn't get aggressive like it does if it hits like semi-shade areas. But that's like a low growing ground cover. And sometimes if the sun's hitting it a little bit, then the bees will go to the flowers.
Okay.
And in the
The
ends,
Clusia?
I'm pretty, huh?
Does the Clusia love bushade?
Yeah, it's not that. Oh, oh my God. Peperomia. That's it. Ah, yes, I got it right. Peperomia obsifolia. There we go. Got the
Well,
name for you.
I kept thinking peperomia, but I thought you were talking about a bigger plant.
No, no.
Because I was like,
Pepper.
I remember like yeah, the circle leaves. But
Yes,
yeah, some.
that's it. Also, like maiden fern. If you want to get into ferns, you could do sword fern, though they get really annoying real quick, because they'll spread. But yeah, if I'm choosing, I'm picking my favorite to be shiny coffee because that one will bloom. The bees, if it does get a little bit of sunlight, the bees will find the flowers. Berries for the birds. And then rouge plant is just like a really soft texture difference. And it's not as happy at this time of year, but it's really pretty the rest of the year. And it has the little lizard tail flowers. And they work, I have them next to each other underneath the arch. So they get like no sun right now. And then, yeah, you could do creeping sage. And then peperomia also is another ground cover one. And then if you want to, for Christmas in the future, you can take cuttings of the peperomia and give it to people as houseplants.
Okay, thank you.
You're
I will
welcome.
see what I can find.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you're down in South. Oh, yeah. You're over on like West Palm area. I don't know what native nurseries you guys have over there.
We have some in Davie.
Okay. Over in Davie.
I'll have to go over there with my list.
Yeah, that's the rodeo area. That's what I remember.
It is.
Okay. Any final thoughts before we wrap up? Our next meeting, if you're on the other Kajabi thing, you can already set it up. But for those who aren't, our next meeting is February 1st. So we'll be over there. That'll be fun. Same bat time, same bat channel. And okay, I'll see everyone soon. Bye.
Yeah, good to see you. Bye bye.
You're everybody.
Back.